Well, here we are, DayTraderRockStar here, and another fantastic day in the market. Wow, what a move. The Trump rally continues. And again, the credit is being given to just comments coming about the tax reform. And, I'm starting to put out the question today, especially, is like when this tax reform hits the wire and when it's announced finally, will this be a sell the news event? Which easily could be, very easily. I'm not saying it is, because there's too many other things and too many other pokers in the fire right now. There's too many other things that are stirring the pot. I mean, we got not even. That's a whole different video in itself. The video today here is basically just an update of what's going on and where we're looking at the markets going. Also to announce a trader cocktail and candlestick show tonight at Wednesday. It is Wednesday. It is February 15th, day after Valentine's Day. You guys should be able to get out. Free yourself, and ladies. I think there's just as many ladies on the site than as guys. But that'll start about 8 o'clock. And we've been doing these every Wednesday, and we're trying to get into a routine to do this. Other thing I want to announce is that we're going to be going to if you're in the New York tri-state area, and we're going to be hitting a show up down in Williamsburg next Wednesday. Black Joe Lewis will be playing down there. So a few of the members are going to be going down there. That's a Wednesday night, so we probably won't have the show next Wednesday, but we're having it tonight. So tune in, 8 o'clock until whenever. All right? I know Dak will be stopping by. Tight Stops will be on the line. We'll see if we can find Anthony. And, we'll go from there. So let's talk about the markets. Breakaway gap, continuation move. We call this, I did. I'm not boasting or anything, but definitely seeing this as a breakaway gap. And we actually bought calls. Today was the first time I actually bought a put in this market in a long time. And it's just because there's kind of some rumblings about Russia. It's not the it's nothing that about you know what, I threw it out there. I think we threw it out there on one chart I'm going to show you. Now you take a look at this chart. This is the underlying the E-mini chart, S&P E-mini futures chart, and you could go all the way back to last Thursday and look at this tight channel we've been driving up in. Very strong market. Flag out, push higher, flag out, push higher, bigger flag, push higher, flag out, push higher. I was watching this top area, so we actually did take a short as we approached this trend line right here, and this is a bigger pattern. Now we did break through this, and there is a shot that actually we come back into this, but it's a it's a long shot. I was taking maybe an opportunity. Maybe there might be some continued news here. It really is a gamble. Overall, I continue to think this market is ultra bullish, and everything is working like we expect it to work. We got the breakout, the minimum pullbacks of they've been very minimum. So the trade has been to the upside, but I don't think until we get the news out. We get the news out on the tax reform. It's hard to, not buy the dip. The people are buying this dip up. They're not letting this thing fall back too much. And this is, in some cases you could say this is great market, but it's not that great for traders. Especially if you're looking for opportunities, you're not getting full rotations. You're seeing a very bullish trend, and you have to recognize that and say, hey, this is a strong trend. Maybe, Johnny's onto something, saying that the rule book is being rewritten. It's not about levels anymore. It's not about the momentum is driving this market higher because the rule book has been ripped up and they're writing a new one. So we don't know exactly how far and fast we're going to go and what the valuations mean anymore. Things move so fast. Technology is moving faster and stuff. There's so many of these laws, the Moore's law, and data and storage, and everything has a law, but everything increases. And it increases faster and faster. So as technology increases, of course, Apple's going to continue to do good. It almost seems like you have to step up to make it in these days. If you have a great chart, it means you probably have a great company, because that's where money's flowing. And you might as well put your money where that area. It's easy enough to say. It's hard enough to do. Verizon, we're going to talk about some stocks coming up here right now too, but let's talk about what the markets did this week so far and what we've been doing, just to kind of catch you up to date. All right, so let's go back here. So again, we talked about the short. The NIB, is the cocoa trade. Started to see strength in it today, so I decided to double down, and we got our cost average down a little on this because I did pick this up off this huge double bottom down here. It dropped off, but I don't have, I'm not a big player, so I'm not down that much monetarily. Enough to double down right now. Now I feel like I have a really good position, and for those out there who might be getting in for the first time, I talked about this all day. These positive candles in this downtrend lead to the situation where you have a positive big candle and you have an oversold level. There's usually a follow-through candles. There's follow-throughs 2 or 3 days in some cases. So I'm definitely looking for follow-through tomorrow. And in the best case scenario, we start to turn back up here. There was a lot of volume back here, and if we even go out to the weekly chart, we'll see that volume really is so high that the last time we had the really big volume was, well, it looks like back here, and that it didn't tell us much on that. But this is important. This is kind of a capitulation volume. People just unloading, and all of a sudden the buyer comes in, and we have a big candlestick on the weekly chart, the daily big candle. Like to see how this plays out. So I definitely think we have some upside on this NIB, even though it's not the most stable stock. Considering large volume is 173,000 shares, it's not too much to get excited about. Next stock we're gonna get onto here was our Groupon. I only picked up 200 shares on Groupon, and I wish I had 2,000 shares of it because take a look at we made $1 on it. So I sold that today. We sold it today, $1.50, $4.57. It's closed at $4.60. I mean, that was a good trade. I wish I had more. I'm not a big buyer of cheap stocks like this, so I try to set an example and not go all in. But this ended up working out in our favor with the earnings, and I always take that bird in the hand. So Groupon here worked out good. We're out of that position, plus $1. The ABBV. We're all over this. We feel like this is starting to break out. There was a tight consolidation here. And, there was a pretty decent candle right there. And we actually, you could come all the way down to that point there. But I want to bring it right to about here. And we chopped around here. And this has been chopping around. And we're starting to poke our heads through. And volume's starting to pick up. I think there's a good shot that we get follow through tomorrow on this. I have stock on this. I have 150 shares. My cost average is 61.15. So we have a profit on that. I also have some calls on that that are expiring this week, and they're half the value. So I'm hoping to get a nice big push to 63 tomorrow. Just to get these things going. So I'd like to do that. I like to get a big move on that. So might not, the option's probably not working out as well as I wanted to on these. But the stock is no problem, We look further out on this, it looks okay. All right, so that the Groupon, our Sienna, CIEN here was the best bet of the week. And again, probably the best thing I could do and show you here. And again, this goes out as a public video. Just remember, some of the backbone of day trading radio is our HPS section of the station. It's a whole separate site. HPS is high probability setups, and it's where we qualify and post all the setups. And they get posted in a way where you look at them. They get inputted into a system. It gets tracked. It sends you alerts when these levels are hit, the targets, the entry prices, and stops. And, if they're watching, it means nothing's been hit yet. If they're green, they're activated. If they're red, they hit their stops. We could go back. The percentage of the HPS setups, over time is well above 75% success rate. There will be some times you might get stopped out on stocks that we're not that familiar with. But if you stick to the criteria, I think you're going to be averaging a good return on your money. But I'll show you what the inside looks like on Sienna. Sienna is actually, you click on the symbol and you'll get an update here. And you can see the green represents that the stock is active right now. Every week you get the updated chart or the chart that's setting up here. And this is, in this case, it's Sienna. Just adjust the in my window. So this was the best bet going into this week. Identifying, and again, the video goes along with this. So if you're actually seeing this chart, the video that goes along with these charts, kind of describes what the setup is, why it's on the chart, and where it's expected to go. So you can see, actually, we went up here about 25.70. What did I get out at? I got out at 25.72. Went up maybe 25.80. And I thought that was close enough. You don't want to ever, just kind of stick to those set numbers, because that's how the market sneaks up on you. It says, all right, I'm looking for $1, and it's giving me only 90 cents. I'm going to hold on. Next thing, you're down $1. So it's there has to be a kind of an understanding that the market's not going to give you every time you set a detailed plan and you have these strict criteria. You have to adjust it a little. You should be able to pick up, hey, this market's not acting right. Maybe I'm going to take a different approach. But anyway, we have a nice pop out of that. You can see we took profits on it, and I still expect it to hit its target, so it's still active. And when it does hit that target, instantaneous, the members of the site get an instant email. Since Sienna has hit its target, we recommend you taking profits on your trade, etc., etc., etc. All right, so what do we have next here? So I'm just going back on our trade alert box. Just kind of a little a little promotion video for Day Trading Radio. I think it's going to turn into. Because if we look at the what we're looking at here, what I'm looking at here. I'll fix that right away. This is our dashboard. So this is the audio components of the dashboard. You can actually control all the audio components, the news, music. If we have music, the crickets, those the crikey sounds you hear in the background, you can pause it, adjust the volume. Then you have all my trades during the day. Here we have our SPS trade alerts that are automatically entered into the system. Any HPS setup, any lane divergence are set up here. It gives you the alerts. Sends them right to your email. We have the news, and the bots are not really being used right now. The bots here pretty much are Rambot right here, a whole separate section for it that measures divergences in the market. And then, of course, if you go up here, you'll have your you can hear Mr. Land in the background. You'll see your HPS video, which is the HPS video of the week, along with the list. Playbook plays are all the setups that we take and stuff. So there's a lot of information on there. Not talking about that because I know I want to get information out there, but I don't promote the site enough. So I just did. Like it or not. Let's see what we have here. Next setup that we're kind of interested in. It's still a dangerous sector, the VFC, apparel manufacturing, kind of falls into with that retail. But there's an interesting channel here. There was a nice wedge pattern. We did break down into that wedge pattern, gave us divergence back up into the channel. The downward channel is held up, and a tighter pattern is playing out here, and it probably could even be used as a parallel trend line here. There you go. So we're kind of in this and trying to push back up here, trying to pop out of this. Apparel, retail is on its way down the toilet, but is it going to just suck the apparel? I mean, they're going to have to buy it somewhere. I'm just thinking the brick and mortar stores, but the apparel companies, my argument is, still going to be sold on Amazon. Still going to have, it's not going to be, you don't think that it's going to have the traffic, until people start to adapt using Amazon to buy clothes. So like, VFC, which is, they own a bunch of brands. I believe they own Timberland, for example. And I believe their earnings are coming out also, so be careful on that. So a nice channel within a channel. I definitely like this one to the upside. We're getting up there. And there's no guarantee. I'm not a good judgment of the retail or the industry that Timberland is. Someone in our room said, "Hey, my kid says Timberlands are hot this year in school." I said, "Oh, all right, that's good to know." VFC here, bet the farm on the kid's opinion. I can't no, but you can see what we're looking at here. There's definitely a potential for a pop. I think the commonest way to go here. I mean, you still got to buy Timberlands, right? You got to buy them online, though. And I think people are okay. They say, I know my size is 15. Everyone feels like they need to be going to the shoe store and test it and walk around in it. And I understand that. But the shoe's never going to give you the true feel until you break it in. I mean, but I understand. Some shoes run big, but you should, find, eventually, you have your shoe, you know your brand, you want to get another one, you don't have to go through the process because you know how the size fits you. All right, so VF Corp, we're long that. Recently picked up some more shares. Gilead, GILD here. Let's talk about the drugs. Trump is still, kind of drug crazy. Pharmaceutical companies were, definitely a highlight or a spotlight in the election. And that's probably not going to go away, so drug companies could get hit. But this is a beautiful day in Gilead, beautiful day. We're in this big time. But we are running into a little resistance. Now, the daily just turning up here. And this could be a huge move here. I mean, look at this. I mean, there is a divergence here from this low to this low. It's just, it's in a weird way. Pop back up to the 20-period moving average. Love to get some follow-through on this, and I think we can. Gilead is one of those. The ABBV. ABBV. There we go. Again, we talked about that a little earlier today. Still looks good. Pfizer, even though someone just mentioned they took profits on it. Nice pop. I mean, the drug's had a nice pop. Some cases, like the Pfizer, is kind of extended here, but good volume and embedded. Still looks very strong. We didn't even look at Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson had a big candle. And then, of course, the Gilead one more time. But look at the Gilead, just starting to turn back up. Where most of these drug stocks have been embedded here. This one's been a while. Some activist investors may be interested in this. Here's your weekly oversold. Starting to turn back up. It did take over after we sold our Sienna for a nice profit. This took over as the best bet of the week, and it has not disappointed yet. Not yet. We sold our Nielsen NLSN. This was a nice setup. It was a decent divergence. The divergence popped here. That's a weekly divergence, too. So we're not saying this one's even... I say this one has a lot more upside, actually. Now, this is a weekly divergence. You don't get to see that too often. There was one right here. So, I mean, go back to 2015. Let's take a look at that. Well, it was kind of a double bottom divergence. Actually, it was not a full divergence. I apologize. This one definitely is a full divergence. It's already made a nice move. Daily's extended. The weekly's good. Probably due for a little pullback, but you can see it's holding strength right now. I expect more upside on this one. Nielsen. We did have this as a trade. Let's see here. And we took profits on it. I don't know when we did that. What was that? It's back on February February 9th. We took it off for $1.52. $1.52. Now, this one was marked down as one of the ones that stopped out. But look at the chart on this.
Businesses in the U.S. will be able to post job openings. Their future employees will be able to find those posts on their page or in new jobs bookmark over the next few weeks. And U.S. and Canadian businesses can post jobs on their Facebook page. That's Foxtrot Bravo.
Check this out. I mean, when I send this out, the stops are the hardest thing to put in here. The stops are. You try to give it a, most of the setups, technical levels, you'd put stops underneath the recent low candlestick. If there's a divergence, sometimes you want to understand that divergences will give you a nice move. It might not give you the perfect profit, but you have to understand that you have to get out when it tells you to get out, and that that's all defined for you. It's easy enough to figure out. So this is not a flawless system. When it comes to trying to automate it. A lot of people use the HPS and they automate it to put in the buy zones, the profit zones, and the stop, and they let it control itself. You can see what happened here. We moved up here pretty aggressively, got up here, 37.90, then drifted all the way back and just barely touched this, closed above it. And for me, if I could make another rule to kind of apply, is really the stop is kind of something that you want to stop under. You want the day's price to be underneath it. You don't want a flush and a close above it, because that's usually reversal, and that's what this candle was right here. So even though it did touch its stop, it did eventually come back up and did hit its target. So these stops are very, I always say the stops are, up to you. I put them in here so they automate it, and you could track your stock. In some cases like this would probably was fine. It wasn't. We ended up taking a profit on this trade. We weren't getting. It was our second entry on this. Actually, I waited for it to come back down. Interesting. But the divergence, which was here, that's nice. So we continue on this, about 22 minutes into this. I should send this out. I wrote down a few new ones I wanted to, and I'm going to do some more research now. And then when the show starts, in about 2 hours or so, 3 hours, we'll go over these. Verizon here is something I'm paying attention to now. Again, definitely looks like there's a Verizon double bottom, maybe divergence here. We start to turn back up. It's a minor one because we have a lower low what's in sight here. You want to have at least, when we talk about month lows, maybe maybe 6 month low might be good. I mean, that seems to be this seems to be a little shallow. It's a pullback from a gap down and moved down once, popped, moved down again, popped, pulled back here, double bottom. It's much better shot that this turns into a divergence and moving back up. And that's down the road. It's a no-brainer. And there's other. Let's see what else we had. A couple other ones I wanted to mention. Let's see in the ANXL. So let me pause this for a second. And I just went over all that stuff without recording it. So anyway, I'm going back over it one more time. I apologize. I didn't record that segment there, and it was important because I was just talking about Biogen here, BIIB, and how important it is to recognize those divergences, even though they do not come around every single day. When they do come around, it's your money-making opportunity. All right, that's your money-making opportunity. As you could go back and back-test them, and my challenge is to, all right, show me a good divergence, a good quality name that doesn't work out. And when you start to see them all work out, you just have to wait for them. And it might not happen, but these are the times you're going to have problems. You're going to say, all right, I'm overbought here, I'm going to go short here, and boom, you're smacked in the face. The divergences are a true gem in this market. If you could, some people tell me you shouldn't be promoting that, like you do. It's just like it works, but what if it doesn't work? What if too many people know about it? And, well, it's an interesting mathematical formula. If you dig down deep in your internet research, look up some you know, the original way the divergences came about and stuff. You know, I've studied George Lane a lot. I have some of his handwritten notes and his notebooks that someone's graciously given me, photocopied, of course. But you know, it's an amazing, you know, and the way he explains it, really nice. So, you know, thanks, Paul. Paul's out there, and again, it really does come down to making money. If you can make money, say 6 times out of the year, wouldn't you wait just for those 6 times to make money? But that's not, you know, that's not how life has been, you know, planned for us. I mean, you need money every week, so we have to force ourselves sometimes to, you know, try to make that money. But I think, honestly, if you're going to be successful, there is times when, you know, money makes money. And if you had money and you say, all right, I'm just going to wait for this. I'm just going to wait for John's HPS divergence setups. You know, and I'll decide if I want to get, you know, if I don't want to get in. But if it's a good one, I don't want to miss it. You know, I don't want to miss that. You know, you know, and seeing these and sometimes missing them, you know, it's like unbelievable. I don't think we missed this. I think I identified this, and it's just that you can't be in all of them. Or you're not, you know, you know, there is only a certain amount of money some people have, so you have to, you know, bide your time, and you know, and it's my job to try to take a, not a you know, more of a news, you know, pointing them out, showing the education behind it, trying to take them, but sometimes we end up seeing them move in the description of them and watching them, and then you know how it goes. Easier said than done, and I think that's going to be a problem for most people. That's why I have to continue to say it for myself. I stress it. Great setups come around. They don't come around every single day. But when they do come around, they show up on quality names. Set yourself up with a quality watch list. Or just let me do the work. And just wait for those setups. I think the important part, this key part of that is waiting for these setups. This is your high probability setup. This is your high probability. It doesn't always show up. This is your criteria exit. This is your criteria exit. Doesn't always. That takes away all the emotions. Greed, fear. What's the other big ones? I don't know. Lust. I don't know if there's lust is going to fall into this. Envy. People will be envious of you. Thanks. So I know we could go through all these. You know, any stock that, you know, we talk about, and again, I wanted to talk about this last week, but I might actually talk about it this week, is we could put together a watch list of, say, 20 stocks. I had a thing called the HPS 40, but that turned into about an HPS 200 because there's so many stocks and you don't want to miss anything, and you can't wait for 40 stocks to make the rotations. But 40 stocks is probably a good thing to start with. And what you should do is, again, what I would do is go to FinViz, and this is just a basic way of starting. You could probably add whatever good, as long as it's a quality name. Peter Lynch used to say, "Invest in what you know," and he was very, you know, got famous for that. Invest in what you use, and well, yeah, here's your S&P 500. If it's on this list, it deserves to be on this list. You know, so, but it's what I want to show you is it's broken down to different sectors. And, you know, you should take a couple, because what happens is the divergence will set up in a certain area, like, you know, utilities, and they'll have a divergence in Duke. You'll also have one in Southern Energy. PCG will have a divergence. You'll find that they tend to work together. Biotechs, same thing. Financials, same exact thing. So you should take a splattering of a couple stocks from each of these sectors. So you have, you know, that way you could start to, even if you start to see a divergence in like a Pfizer, then you could say, you know what, let me check the other drug stocks, see if they're also setting up. Oh yeah, they are. Let me get the best of breed, and I'll trade that one. You know, and that's what happens. Again, easy enough to build a strategy and a method, hard enough to apply that method without forcing yourself outside that criteria, because you need the cash. All right, so Biogen here, just coming off of divergence. We're rolling up on 30 minutes into this video. It is coming up on 5:30. Everything's working pretty good. Just to update you one more time, the trade show is next week. Next, the 25th, 26th, 27th, and 28th. Not this weekend coming up, but the weekend after. So we have 1 weekend, 2 weekends. We have the trade show. It's in New York City, the Marriott Marquis. The whole crew is going to be down there. We have a booth. Welcome to come down. Please go to the site, click on the banner for the Traders Expo, or in the chat room, type in explanation point bot space expo. Is that how you do it? I can never say the word explanation. Well, it feels like it sounds wrong. It should be called something else. We're going to be at booth 111. Now, well, that's coincidence. Just like today, we were together at 2345 on the S&P. You didn't know that right now. You're probably listening to this video right now and you're like, realize, holy crap, I missed 2345 on the S&P. It will probably never happen again. And that's okay. You know, you'll take it to the grave. You'll probably think about it on your deathbed, but it's okay. Shit, should have been there. 2345. Closed at 2349 on the S&P today. What else? Let's just take a look for another divergence. Let's see. Oh, Apple. I mean, of course we're not getting a divergence in Apple, but when we did, there was actually a fantastic divergence here. That was very clear. And look at the rip higher it went. It went from where that divergence really started to take place, 110, it went up to 115. All right. Looked a lot bigger than that, 5 points, but it's probably 7 points. And again, you know where I'm going here with this. Divergence are kicking butt. Here's another divergence in Apple. And that was the resulting move. Now things are extended, but there is actually stocks that are pulling back. And I'll give you one last hint, trick of the trade today, and then we're going to get going. I'm going to get ready for the show. I got to do some work here. Paul, that reminds me, we have to do something for Speed Trader, right? Or Apex. We need to figure that out. I got our flyers in today for the tradeometer. I think I have flyers for Day Trading Radio at home. I'm not sure. I have cards, business cards. I don't know. We gotta get that stuff together. Anyway, here's a trick of the trade: how to find setups like a divergence. Now, divergence for me, I like the buy side divergence, but you might like the sell side divergence. This kind of reverse it. This is on FinViz. You click on the big chart, and it'll bring you to this page. And over here, there's a little window drop down. And click on that, and go to performances. Now for a buy divergence to happen, it should have at least over a month, maybe 2, maybe 3, probably 4. Hard to say what the average is, but you would like to see it have a nice pullback that forms a nice channel. So we could look at 6-month performance, 3-month performance, and we'll look at the stocks that show up as red. And hopefully if they kind of bunch together and you see a sector that's kind of all red, then you have a clue that maybe you're not going to get stuck in a crappy stock. It just happens to be a kind of a rotation out of a sector. And you can see Under Armour, VFC, the ones we're actually in now, have been the worst performers. VFC here, one in the apparel group. Under Armour, we traded that last week. We did very well on Under Armour. We did bigly on this one. We're out of it now, but it's been down 36%, I think, in the last 3 months. Or I don't know if that's for the year. Apparel companies, the same thing. And you might not see that. You might not see Biogen. And again, you are seeing these setups. Gilead, we like the Gilead, the Biogen. You can tell now that I'm more interested in these quality names that are pulled back. They tend to show up on these screens. So that's one way of actually starting to get your list. Another one is, of course, go up here. Give me an ad. Go up to the top here. Go to Screener. And when it's under screener, they give you another ad. Go to technical. And then you have some other things you could go over here. You can see pattern. And remember, divergences tend to happen in a downward pattern or rising channel. So you have a channels screener here. It can help you out. Channel up strong. So I'll go for, we're going to go channel down strong. Not that there's going to be many. So if they do show up, it might be just a crap stock. But I'm going to show you. Click on that, all right? And then I've shown this many times before, but in case you're new, we'll show it again. Now we have a list of stocks here. Now, I want to go to market cap right here. I'm going to click on the market cap. I want the largest market cap on top. I want the biggest stocks. Usually the biggest stocks are the bigger the market cap, the bigger the business, the bigger the everything. Big shoes. And now we have a list of stocks that are in a downward channel. So now I'm going to just click on the chart button here, and it's going to convert them to all charts. And I could actually take a bird's eye view of these charts. And now I could recognize the divergence just by looking at a chart here. First of all, we have to have a lower low, like here, low and a lower low, and this one's probably already after the fact. I wonder if this could change. I haven't messed with the technical aspect of these charts. If I could put a stochastic on it, but I don't think I can. Sprouts Farmers Market. That's Sprouts Farmers Market. I've heard about this one. SFM. Let's just take a look at it. See, off to a tangent I go. Always want to research. All right, what am I looking at here? Again, SFM. SFM. All right, yeah. See, did I call that? I could smell a divergence like a fart in a closet. Here's the SFM. I'm saying, all right. You see that little spike candle there, and this little candle. When you have that little move down, a little bounce, and a fast spike with a reversal candle, that's what I look for. That's that kind of key area here. And here it is. Here, I'm trying to get all these charts. I might be a little sloppy on these charts. Where am I here? All right, so here you had the candle, that low, and this low actually held above this. This is very interesting because you don't see this. There was actually two divergences here, kind of a big running divergence. But this one is, I think, a key one right here. You held above that low, you popped back up, and you gave a divergence where both lows are above the 20 line here. I think that's very strong. It's usually a much stronger divergence. Now, it did pop aggressively off of this, almost got overbought. We might even consider that overbought, 79 and change, and it's starting to roll over. So you think, you got a fast move in it. The smart move would probably take profits even if they're minimal, to see how this reacts. But there's a shot here, look at this stock. Look at the awful looking stock this is. Right at the lows. But it is a divergence, Here was a double bottom divergence right here. Classic double bottom divergence right here. Two lows, a higher low on the stochastics, and a nice run up from that. I'm looking back at this, just back testing it, visually back testing, not seeing anything. The only thing I am seeing is divergence here. So if any time this looks like it's a good buy, you want to take a shot, even though the stock is stock rot, this would be the spot I would be looking at. But there's no guarantee. Stock rot here could be a major issue with this one. But you can see what I'm looking at here, right? Pretty organized. SM. I'll write it down. SFM. All right, that one's good. IBM. I got some other ones. We'll talk about them on the show. All right, it's going on 40 minutes. I don't want to make this video too big. People have better things to do. Have a great evening. Again, we'll see you on the show in about an hour and a half, 2 hours 30 minutes. About 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock. We have a nice show tonight for you. Cocktails and candlesticks. Gin and Sprite is my drink of the evening. We're looking at the secret ingredient is gin today. So if you want to join us, go right ahead. Over and out, DayTraderRockStar. See you in the markets. DayTradingRadio.com.